Just finished pitching up in a place called Loch Chon. It's in the Trossachs. I've not long left Loch Lomond, where I was pitched up for 3 days, and I'm 3 days here. This is an off-grid campsite, which is a mixture of forest pitches and lochside pitches, and I've got a lochside pitch, so Loch Chon is just down a pathway there where I'll take you down in a minute. I'm going to try and relax. I mean, it's raining at the moment, that doesn't help, but I'm going to try and relax tomorrow. If it's weather's good enough, I'm going to get out on Loch Chon, have a good paddle around, and then just sit down and enjoy the views and cook and just chill. The day after, I'm hoping to get down the road to another loch called Loch Ard, which I planned on doing last year with one of my sons in August when we were up, but the weather was atrocious. So I'm hoping to be able to get the opportunity to get out on that loch and have a paddle around on there. Day 3, not too sure. I'll wing that. I'll play that one by ear, see how we go. But primarily here to kayak, but also to chill out. So what I'll do, I'll take you down to the little beach area, which is just to the left of me, and show you where I'll be putting in for my paddle. Okay, so I'm just leaving my pitch now. It's a bit muddy down here because it's been quite wet, but I think I may inflate the kayak on the beach rather. I'm not going to try and drag it or carry it down here at 16.5 feet long. And there we go. It's not too far to walk, so I think I can bring kayak down to this little beach area here, get it inflated, and off I go. I mean, compared to Lomond, obviously, I mean, size wise there's no comparison, but it's so calm. I mean, Lomond's literally the waves are crashing in. A couple of little islands over there. If I pan round, there's a bigger island here. Should be able to land on a couple of these. I don't think the birds are nesting anymore. I think that season's past, and then I can travel down around that corner there to the far end of the loch. Just pan again. Obviously it doesn't look its best, it's drizzling at the moment, so in all fairness, you don't come to Scotland for the weather, and it wouldn't look this beautiful if it was hot and sunny all the time. Right, that's the pathway back up to my pitch. I think, even though it's drizzling, it's time for me to get a brew on and start thinking about cooking something up for tea. So I'll get back to you later. Right, well the rain's eased off a bit, and decided I'll do myself something to eat, but I'm not too fussed tonight. I mean, if it keeps coming down, you know, raining, I'm just going to have a good old-fashioned pot noodle just to fill me up. I mean, I did actually, while I was picking up provisions earlier, I went down to McDonald's and I had a McDonald's, so I'm quite full. The water out the taps at the site are not purified. I mean, they do say about carrying your water in. The only thing is, I've got on my vehicle, which is only 150 yards away, I've got a 25 litre drum of water. However, I've actually had that on there for a week. I haven't emptied it and filled it from the last site. So what I've done, I filled up my sort of 2 litre collapsible bottle from the tap here off a funnel, and I've put it into a smaller bag, and I'm running it through my Sawyer Mini, so it's purified. I'm sure boiling it would be fine, but in all fairness, I've got this here, so I may as well use it. And the other thing is, if I am out kayaking, I only want to take a 500ml bottle with me. If I'm out for longer than I think, or I end up on one of the islands, I'll use the water filter, or collect water from the loch and use the water filter, so I'm still hydrated. So I'm quite glad I brought it with me now. I'm not sure what I'll be doing tonight. I mean, it keeps raining, so if I have a fire, I'll bring you back. If it keeps raining, I'm not wasting wood and lighting a fire. I'll just retire to my tent and just relax and read a book. I mean, I could have, in all fairness, I've still got my 4-person air beam with me that I used in Cumbria as a base camp, and I could have actually pitched that on this spot, but to me it just doesn't fit in with the environment. This backpacking tent is perfect for where I am, and it's very cosy, so I'm quite happy staying in this for the next 3 nights. Right, I may see you later this evening, or it may be tomorrow when I can hopefully get out on the loch. Well, it's about 7:15 now. Basically it's beer o'clock. I've got some lovely cold ones in my ice box, covered in ice. I've started the fire early as well. It's actually quite overcast and already dark in this area, I suppose because you're actually surrounded by trees. It does keep raining. It's just showers. I'm not bothering to go in anymore. I'm just covering up the camera and just getting on with it. The fire, part of the reason for lighting it early is I'm not over cold. The midges were swarming while I was eating, so I've lit the fire, and the smoke actually seems to be keeping them away. It didn't work in Loch Lomond on the beach area. I suppose the smoke was just blowing, you know, all over the place. But the good thing about Loch Lomond is a lot of the time it was very windy, and midges just can't fly in it. So it was mainly first thing in the morning when it was calm, and last thing at night when they came out in abundance. But they're a pain. Alright, so fire's going, beer's going. I'm going to call it a night filming wise. I'm just going to relax in front of the fire and just chill out and just stare into the woodlands. So what I'll do, I'll see you in the morning. Good night. The sound of liquid sunshine beating down on the tent. Well, good morning. It's 5:30 AM. I've just woken up properly, and as you can probably hear out there, it's absolutely pouring down. Yesterday evening there was showers most of the evening. I basically had a raincoat on the back of the chair, and I was putting it on and off. I was sitting through them just in front of the fire. It was a lovely, peaceful evening, very enjoyable, until 10 o'clock when the absolute heavens opened up and it poured down. I jumped into my cot as quick as I could. I didn't really have to batten down the hatches because it had been raining, so I just jumped in, got ready for bed, and that was it. The rain continued on till around about 4:30, where it eased up enough for me to actually get up and do my ablutions. And now I'm back in here and it's pouring down again, so I'll just have to see what's happening today. Sit it out for a bit, have a brew inside the tent, and see where it goes from there. The tent, once again, very impressive. As I said, the amount of rain it's had on it over the last 10 hours is absolutely no, not 10 hours, 10 till 4, 6 or 7 hours is absolutely amazing. It's just been constant. It didn't slow down at any point, and there's not a drop of water inside the tent, and it was lovely and warm. I've just put this down jacket on. I mean, I use this more at the moment for when I'm getting into the sleeping bag and getting out in the morning. I don't really actually sleep in it, it's far too warm. But I used my Snugpack Navigator 3-season sleeping bag for the first time last night. really comfortable. Actually too warm for me. I had to unzip the sides and let some air in, but really comfortable and roomy. It's not the lightest tent, and it's not the lightest sleeping bag, and it doesn't pack down that small. People do complain, even when they cinch it down, it's still quite big. But it is a brilliant sleeping bag. So what I may do later in the day, if it's raining, is actually do sort of a review on some of the kit I've used on this trip here and when I was up at Lomond. Not so much when I was down in Cumbria, because I was in my airbeam, 4-person airbeam tent, so it was a little bit more luxury, let's say. Yeah. Right, so what I'll do, I'm going to have a cup of tea, listen some more to the rain, and I'll get back to you a bit later. Well, while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, I thought I'd bring you down to the beach area and the loch. Certainly has rained a lot. There was much more of a beach area last night. I could probably walk about another 4 feet out, and I could walk right round the edge. It's not possible now. Yeah, last night I walked about 30-40 yards round on a little shingle beach area. Now it's not there. There's certainly a lot of rain. There you go. That's the scene at 7 AM. You can see the mist coming up off the trees. I'll pan around, give you the full view. Oh well, here we are out on Loch Chon finally, and not a bad morning it's turning out to be after that incredibly wet night. This is calm as a mill pond. So what I've done, I've just left the shoreline where I'm pitched up. I'm pitched up at a campsite called Loch Chon campsite, strangely enough. Chosen so I could get a lochside pitch and come out paddling, very similar to what I did at Lomond, although that sort of all went pear-shaped, mainly because of the weather, just the size of the loch, to be honest. This is a much smaller, sheltered loch. Anyway, I'll shut up for a while and let you view the scenery. I'm just paddling round a load of lilies. I know in parts the bank, from the bank in, it's quite shallow. It's very deceiving, quite rocky, so I'm steering clear of the shoreline. Look at those beautiful mountains ahead. What I'm doing, I'm paddling down to the far end of the loch. If it pours down the rain, I've got wets, but what I'll do, I'll head back to my pitch, wait for the rain to stop, and then continue my paddle, hopefully, later. I had a bit of an accident at Loch Lomond. On the second day I tried to go out in what seemed to be as calm as it was going to be, and I got broadsided by two waves in quick succession. It didn't quite topple me, but I took on a lot of water, and what happened is my camera rig that I've made with my Osmo Action on top severely wobbled, and the external mic and the adapter, because the Osmo Action needs an adapter to use for an external mic, just went over the side plonk, followed by the power bank. So 20,000 milliamp per hour power bank went over the side as well. So I've lost maybe 80, 90 pounds worth of equipment. To be honest, I learned a bit of a lesson, because obviously I'm trying to get the best audio sound. So I've been using an external mic. The problem when you use an external mic on the Osmo Action is you then make it non-waterproof. It's not waterproof with an external mic. It's only waterproof with the internal mic. So I'm not even sure, unless it's for my land-based adventures, which I tend to use my DJI Pocket 2, I'm not sure whether I'm going to replace those parts, because I'm now a bit sort of wary of using them on the water. In all fairness, on flat water, like the rivers and the canals that I usually paddle, it's relatively safe, but there's always the chance that you'll capsize. Now, as I said, I've lost the microphone, I've lost the adapter, power bank, lead. I've not lost my camera. My camera's worth over £300, so I think obviously now I'm using the internal audio. There's no wind, so it should come out quite well, and I'm just hoping that, well, hoping it does, but I think I'll stick to the internal audio on this camera on the water from now on. Lesson learned. Could have been worse. Slight bit of a breeze on the loch, actually quite welcome, because at the moment I'm feeling a little bit overdressed. I'm getting in. It's a little bit more exposed down this end, but it's the wind in my face, so providing the wind doesn't change direction, it'll be the wind in my back on the way back. There's somewhere I want to show you, so I just turn the camera around rather than turn into the wind. Now I think you can just about see it there. There's a car park there. There's a little car park there. I'll move more further towards it. And a lovely little beach area. And I found this last August when I was up with my sons. So one of my sons had gone home, and we came up this way to paddle Loch Ard, and it was absolutely torrential rain and blowing hooly. So we just went for a drive and actually found this this loch. I didn't even know it existed, and the campsite, which I believe was actually, well, it was closed, COVID closed. And found this little car park area. Obviously not to kayak that day, but to do exactly what I'm doing now. Bookmark it when I had the opportunity, but rather than just drive to the car park and make a day of it, I booked into the off-grid campsite for 3 days. And there we go. Have a look at that on the way back. Once again, for you drop stitch kayak enthusiasts, I have the 3.5 inch, 3.5 inch Intuit skeg on here rather than the 9 inch. I really don't get on with the 9 inch because of the problems manoeuvring. I find the 3.5 absolutely fine. Although I may buy another 9 inch and cut it down to say 6 inches and sort of have a meet in the middle type of effect. Obviously 3.5 inches as well for shoreline is very easy, much easier to launch than 9 inch. It's going to go a lot further out. How cute is that? Well, this is the far end of the loch from where I put in, so let's turn ourselves round now. It basically looks where the loch ends. It goes into a little stream, and it's quite shallow down here, so I can see the bottom. It's very, very clear, this water. Look at it, it's like a mill pond here. And this will be my bathtub this evening, if I'm brave enough. So I'm now just taking you towards the beach area I was talking about. It was an option. Had I pitched up somewhere else, say like in Calendar, or I don't think there is anywhere in Loch Ard down the road where Loch Ard is, but had I gone somewhere else I could have at least come up for the day, paid to park in that car park, and had a day out or half a day out on the water. Well, I just stopped recording for a moment and just let myself glide while I altered the length of my two-piece paddle. Made it a bit longer. Absolutely amazing what 5 centimetres will do. I'm going to stop paddling, I'm going to shut up and just let you listen and look. Absolute silence other than bird song. Wonderful. As you can see, it's like a mill pond down this end. It's obviously very sheltered. Then you go for a bit that's exposed, but it's not too windy anyway. It's just completely enclosed by hills and forests. I was talking to the warden or ranger, not sure what the title is, up here yesterday. I believe her name is Lisa, and she said literally you can look at the weather forecast for this area, or Loch Ard down the road, you know, this sort of area, and it'd be nothing like it, because this actual area, because of the forest, has its own microclimate, so it basically does what it wants. And I must admit, last night it was, whereas it's sort of getting dark at gone 10 o'clock up here, it seemed to be dark, although it was a very overcast day. It seemed to get dark earlier, but then I was enclosed by trees, and I'm in a woodland setting, so it was lovely, just sitting around a fire, just staring into the woods. So you can see it's a bit more breezy in front. I'm leading into it. Actually, I think it's the story of my life. It's actually the wind that I'm going back towards the island of my pitch, and the wind direction's changed. Always happening to me. Even on a day like this, you can't help but in awe of the views, your surroundings. Absolutely beautiful, awesome country. And there's the island, slightly to my right. My pitch is halfway along that, straight across on the bank. But we'll go straight up now. Let's just stop for a minute, adjust my seating and have a look around. That's better. better. And as you can see, there's two wee islands ahead. Probably, I think the bigger one's half the size of the one that's opposite my launch point. Tiny little islands. The bigger one opposite my launch point, I may actually go ashore there. I know there's a lot of birds nesting on these islands, but I think that's all over now, so I'll soon find out if I go near it and there's nesting, because they absolutely kick up. Well, this is what I came here for, kayaking, predominantly kayaking, and with the Lake District that was more about, although that was 5 days straight off in the lakes. That was about Coniston and a bit of walking, and this is all about kayaking. And with the disappointment of Lomond, I say disappointing, I had a fantastic time pitched up. I mean, I just enjoyed myself, you know, fires in the evening, and the view over the loch towards Luss was absolutely amazing. Slept well, ate well, so did the midges. I've got to mention those little buggers again. But these smaller lochs, they're more my thing. I mean, they are doable. I don't think it can get too windy on here. The only thing that can really stop you is absolutely pouring down the rain, and that's mainly all inside. Although the camera's waterproof, it does make good footage. Beautiful little islands. I have no other plans today, just out on here, chillax around the camp. Hopefully tomorrow, weather permitting, I shall take the short drive down to Loch Ard. Well, just past Loch Ard, because I found quite a good place parking in the lay-by, put the kayak in, and I'll get out on the paddle on Loch Ard as well. If I do those two, I'll be happy. Lower up descent. Yeah, tiny island. Just before I go back to my launch point, I'm just going to take a little closer look at the island. I may as well do it now. Yeah, I worry obviously because of the weather up here. I do worry that I won't get another chance. It's easy to say, oh, I'll go back, have a cup of tea, and I'll come out later, and then it just absolutely blows a hoolie and tips it down a rain for the next 2 days. So I might as well take the opportunity to take a closer look at it now. Crossing the loch from the island there, looking for my put-in point. The hill looks the same, but I did leave a big blue tarpaulin or tarp just up off the shingle area. You should find it. Just take it slow. Talk about an old brain. Completely miscalculated where I was on the loch. I was looking at the island and thinking that my putting point was dead opposite, and it's the wrong island. This is the two smaller islands further down the loch. So yeah, silly man. I don't know what all that was about. Call it a senior moment. So I had to go round this bend down to the larger of the three islands, and that's where I put it. And as I said, I wouldn't mind. I've left a bright blue tarp folded up but very visible just off the beach line. I mean, that was the idea of it, and I'm going along a completely wrong piece of shoreline looking for it. Oh well, that's why when I go hiking I've got a GPS tracker, so I can find myself back turning into a walking and kayaking version of Mr. Magoo. Oh, it's beautiful out here. Everybody should do it. My fault was what I'd have done alone if I was going around the islands there. There's 28 of them. Although in all fairness, on my GPS tracker I can set it up for kayaking. So all I would do is from my putting point on the beach where I was pitched, I'd mark that as a waypoint, just go out paddling. At least I'd always go my way back. It's the idea of buying it. Yes, they're expensive pieces of kit. Yes, you should always carry maps, but the point is, it's there if it gets you out of trouble. And it will pick up satellites. I tried it yesterday here, it still picks up satellites, whereas your phone, there's no internet here. There's no phone signal, which is lovely in its own way, but yeah, the tracker would still function. Lovely this. Just on my own out on the water. No one else at all on this loch. There is the island. A bit cold and blowing to be able to stop off on it and walk in. It's a wild camp destination. Very shallow there. Got the paddle on the bottom. Now I can actually see the tarp just about. I mean, I've not left it right on the beach, it looked disgusting. It's more or less straight ahead, it's just by a tree. Well, thoroughly enjoyable paddle. I do like it when it kicks up a bit, and I do like to have a bit of a workout. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me. Well, I hope you can see it. There's a blue tarp, it's folded up directly ahead, and then there's a little pathway. It's very, very muddy and wet at the moment, up, which leads directly to my pitch. There's a couple, because it's hard to see the people, they're well spaced out here. I see a couple that are actually staying another night, but they've got to move pitch, and he wants to go kayaking. So I said to him, if you want to go kayaking, you're welcome to travel through my pitch, because he's moving further off, more onto a forest pitch. But yeah, you can only offer. It's rained all day yesterday. I'm sure that's part of one of his intentions, was to get out on the loch. If it's good today, once he's moved, he can get out on it. In fact, if he comes through and goes out on it, I think he's with his wife, I might come back out again myself. It's a lovely beach area to the left there, off of another pitch. There's no one on them. I'm going to go for a walk. I mean, obviously I don't want to be intrusive, but I may go for a walk around the pitches for future reference, because I'd like to come here with either, you know, one of my friends or maybe my sons or grandchildren, if they could hack it. Lovely again, but nice and calm, nice and sheltered in this piece. Well, that was a very enjoyable trip out. Done end to end nearly. I didn't quite get to the far end. I may do that later today. Had a little trip around the islands. It's exactly what I wanted to do. Like I said, I bookmarked this from last year, and then we went straight back into the COVID lockdowns again. So as in with everybody, it's been a very, very hard 18 months. Well, the midges are back out in force now, so I'm going to put my silly net on, try and protect at least my face. My legs are eaten alive, but hey, goes with the territory. Right, I'll bring you back a little bit later when I'm cooking or round the campfire. See you later. Well, I've come to the end of the day's events and I've got everything I wanted done. After the torrential downpours last night, I was worried about whether I'd be able to get out on Loch Chon, so I did get out early. I mean, it's been dry all day, but I'm glad I got out there. It's a lovely wee loch. It's small but very, very scenic, so I thoroughly enjoyed myself out there today. Felt good when I got off. The rest of the day I've just spelt chilling out around camp, just checking a bit of footage, and then I decided this afternoon, it warmed up slightly, so I've got an 8 litre hand pump pressure washer. What I did, I bowled up 4 litres of water, poured that in, put 3 litres of cold on top, stripped down and had a full shower and full shave, beard or face and head. So I actually feel very, very clean and wonderful at the moment after basically being on the road and wild camping for I've been out for 9 or 10 days, no longer than that, about 13 days, and I haven't had a proper shower or bath for at least 5, so that was really, really nice to just clean up. The rest of the time I've just been sitting around and just staring into the woods. So yes, I cooked up a nice fry up for tea. That was done. The midges allowed me to eat without hindrance, which makes a change. There's a nice breeze this evening, just a gentle breeze, but just enough to keep the midges away, which I'd rather the breeze and keep them away and light a fire to warm up. So that's it really. I've got the fire going. Plans for tomorrow, providing it's not raining, is to go down the road to a place called Loch Ard and get out on the paddle on Loch Ard, which was on my bucket list for last year, that never happened. So if I get that done tomorrow, I'll be very, very pleased indeed. I'm staying here again tomorrow night, and then I'm striking camp on Friday, and I'm driving down to a place called Mogai, which is my hometown, which is further down. It's actually at the start of the West Highland Way, and I'm staying at my brother's for the night before I start to head home to Kent. So I'm going to have a beer, just chill out and just stare at the fire, and then probably get my head down about 9 o'clock. So for now, cheers. See you on the next video.